In the world of stand-up comedy, few things are as unpredictable as dealing with audience members who believe the spotlight should be on them. These individuals, often entitled, disruptive, and loud, are popularly nicknamed Karens. While comedians thrive on witty banter, few things get the crowd roaring louder than when a professional dismantles a Karen with sharp humor and perfect timing. This story takes you on a journey through a series of unforgettable encounters in comedy clubs across America, where comics faced the ultimate challenge: handling Karens who tried to hijack the show. From New York to Los Angeles, from small comedy lounges to packed theaters, we'll relive moments where comedians not only defended their stage but turned chaos into pure comedic gold. It was a Friday night in Chicago, at a legendary comedy club that had seen the rise of countless stars. The room was buzzing with anticipation as the headliner, a fast-talking comic named Jason Miller, stepped onto the stage. Jason was known for his clever crowd work and lightning-fast comebacks. The audience adored him. But about 15 minutes into his set, a woman sitting near the front decided she wanted to become part of the show. She wasn't laughing, wasn't clapping, she was scowling. Jason cracked a harmless joke about the cold Chicago weather when suddenly she shouted, "Not funny! You shouldn't make fun of things people can't control." The room went silent. Jason paused, raised an eyebrow, and leaned into the mic. "Ma'am, it's the weather. Are you in charge of that? Because if so, we'd love to have a word with you about last winter." The crowd erupted in laughter, while the woman crossed her arms. Jason didn't stop there. "You know, I was wondering why it felt 10 degrees colder in here. Must be the chill coming from your seat." The entire audience clapped and howled, and suddenly the Karen had nothing left to say. She shrank back, realizing she had just been roasted by a professional in front of hundreds. On another night in Austin, Texas, a young comedian named Sarah Brooks was performing at a hip comedy lounge. Sarah had a warm and approachable style, mixing observational humor with quick-witted improvisation. The crowd loved her authenticity. But halfway through, a woman in the back, wine glass in hand, kept interrupting. "You should talk about relationships." "That's funnier," she yelled out. Sarah smiled politely. "I appreciate the suggestion, but I already have jokes planned. You'll get your money's worth, I promise." The Karen refused to stop. "No, I'm serious. Relationships are hilarious. You're doing it wrong." Sarah tilted her head. "Doing it wrong? Ma'am, this isn't karaoke night. You don't get to request songs." The room roared. "You came here to watch me do comedy, right?" Sarah continued. "Imagine if you went to a restaurant and told the chef, 'Excuse me, can you make this burger taste like lasagna?' That's what you sound like right now." The Karen huffed, but the audience clapped so loud that she finally quieted down. Sarah turned back to the crowd. "See? Sometimes the joke just walks in with a glass of wine." Meanwhile, in New York City, at a late-night comedy club near Times Square, comedian Marcus Allen was mid-set when a Karen at the front began recording him with her phone. Marcus had a strict no-filming policy, like many comics who wanted to protect their material. "Ma'am, please put the phone away," Marcus said firmly but politely. The woman smirked. "It's a free country. I can record if I want." Marcus raised his hand, turned to the crowd, and said, "Oh look, we've got the director of Netflix in the audience tonight. Thank you for giving my free special away." The audience burst out laughing, while the Karen glared. Marcus leaned in closer. "Seriously, though, please stop filming. Nobody wants to be a star in your shaky YouTube video. Your camera work looks like a toddler filming a roller coaster." Even the staff at the club chuckled, and the woman finally relented, embarrassed. Marcus wrapped it up by saying, "Give it up for our undercover camera crew, ladies and gentlemen. She'll be releasing the bootleg later tonight at the low price of ruining comedy." Another unforgettable moment happened in Los Angeles, where comedian Emily Jameson was headlining a sold-out show. Emily had just landed a role in a sitcom, and the crowd was excited to see her. But of course, a Karen in the second row thought she deserved attention. "You're not even that funny," the woman shouted mid-set. Emily stopped, smiled, and said, "Thank you, everyone, my mom has arrived." The audience went wild. The woman doubled down. "No, seriously, I could do this better than you." Emily grinned. "Great. Then go to an open mic, work for 10 years without health insurance, and come back when you've got Netflix knocking on your door. The crowd applauded thunderously. Emily then pointed at the Karen's seat. Until then, your job is easy. Laugh, clap, and maybe order another overpriced soda. The Karen had no comeback. The audience loved every second. The road didn't stop there. In Miami, Daniel Torres had to deal with a Karen who kept yelling, "That joke's offensive," after nearly every punchline. Finally, Daniel sighed and said, "Ma'am, if I wanted a censor, I'd have brought my grandma. And even she laughs at my jokes." The room laughed, but the Karen tried one last time. "Well, you're not funny." Daniel smiled. "That's fine. You didn't laugh. But everyone else here is laughing. So I guess it's a you problem, not a me problem." The applause shook the room. The Karen finally gave up, and Daniel finished his set strong. From Seattle to Dallas, from Boston to San Diego, the pattern repeated. Karens walked into comedy clubs thinking they could take control, but each time, the professionals reminded them why the stage belonged to the comedians. What makes these moments special isn't just the jokes. It's the quick thinking, the courage, and the ability to turn negativity into laughter. Comedy thrives on tension, and when a Karen tries to disrupt the show, it creates the perfect setup for comedians to shine. The audience leaves not only entertained, but also reminded that comedy is about shared joy, not individual entitlement. By the time the curtain falls, the comedians always have the last laugh. And while the Karens might leave in frustration, the rest of the crowd walks out buzzing with stories they'll tell for years. Remember that time the comedian destroyed that heckler? Funniest night ever. And that's the magic of comedy. No matter how disruptive a Karen might be, the comedian's microphone is always louder, sharper, and infinitely funnier.